Hey guys, today we have Vishal and he's having 11 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started and watch this interview till end. The questions are gonna be very, very interesting. So hey, hi Vishal, how are you?
Hey, hi, I'm doing good.
Shall we start?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Yeah, sure. So myself, Vishal, and
Mm-hmm.
I have around 11 year of experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I have mostly the project and the domain which I have worked on, the Java Spring Boot microservices.
Mm-hmm.
And I started exploring AWS as well, and
Mm-hmm.
Docker and Kubernetes as well. I started learning
Mm-hmm.
and then implementing in our project as well.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like current overall stack which I have used so far.
Mm-hmm.
And if you talk about the project, I'm mostly into banking domain. So from
Banking
starting of
domain.
career, I was
Mhm.
in banking domain
Banking
itself.
domain. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working in the most top fintech company, which here in
Mhm.
the industry. And
Okay.
yeah, so these
Okay.
are the basic
Okay. So you are a team leader or architect
uh,
in your
uh,
project?
kind of lead position I'm handling right now, not the
Mm-hmm.
architect. Yeah.
Not the architect.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what's your day-to-day task and responsibilities that you do, Vishal?
Yeah, so my day-to-day task will be like I whatever the requirements. We are a
Mhm.
team, a Scrum team. So basically, we whatever
Mhm.
requirements come from the business, right? So I need to work with the stakeholders, our LOB, and then our Scrum Master, and we need to finalize the requirement, and then
Mhm.
we do the story points and everything, like
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
how much this task is
So
going
how
to
the
take.
story points are structured?
The story point will be like what we need to do. Like first of all, like we will be giving the requirement as part of this
Mm-hmm.
backlog refinement itself,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go through that backlog refinement before going into meeting, and then
Mm-hmm.
we do some kind of analysis, and then we come up with a large audience where we'll be story pointing. So if
Okay.
we
Okay.
have we give some
Mm.
estimate. Okay, so for this story, if we are going to take like
Mm-hmm.
three story point, then we need to, or five story point, we need to
Mm-hmm.
justify that to our Scrum Master
Mm-hmm.
why it is going to take that. So that
Mm-hmm.
all practice we follow in our team.
Testing also included
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this one
testing. Yeah.
story.
So we when we do this story refinement session,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the tester and the database and all the developer, everything,
Mm-hmm.
everyone will be there in that meeting. So we
Mm-hmm.
give a cumulative story point for that particular story whenever we pick.
Mm-hmm.
So for that.
Okay. Okay. Are you guys using any messaging system in your current project? And if yes,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what's that?
So we use both IBM MQ and Kafka, both we are using.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
yeah, so for where we need a point-to-point communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we use IBM MQ. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a system where third-party system from where we just need to send those data,
Mm-hmm.
and for there we are using IBM MQ. But somewhere we need a live streaming of data,
Mm-hmm.
or like we are using Kafka for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So have you worked with JWT, JSON Web Tokens?
Yes, yes, I
So
have
why
worked
is
on.
it
So
used in web application?
yeah, so the main JWT is a very secure way of
Mm-hmm.
authenticating your this request. So I'll tell you from scratch like how it works in our project. So let stop me if I'm going so much into the detail. Yeah,
Okay.
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 So I'll explain like what
Mm-hmm.
happens in our application. So we
Mm-hmm.
have our authentication server. So we are
Mm-hmm.
using Okta in our application.
Mm-hmm.
So not exact working with the Okta, there is a like kind of a layer which we call as a ping for us.
Mm-hmm.
But internal they use Okta only. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens like we are into customer portal. So customer portal which is in PaaS side, like
Mm-hmm.
public access net that
Mm-hmm.
it is hosted there. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever request comes into our right, so we send, so we for authentication and authorization both we are using Okta platform only. So
Mm-hmm.
we call authorize, and then it will go to this Okta, and then first it will authorize, and then we this Okta will send a token. So this token is nothing but JWT token.
JWT token.
Okay, so this, yeah, so this JWT token is basically comprised of three parts. Basically, what it will have three information: header, and the and payload, and then signature.
So Vishal, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material structure step by step by myself, expert and MNC's interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There is a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contains a lot of material categorized by experience level. Means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question and answer. For Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, Microservices, Java coding questions, Tree paper coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this below in the description. And if someone needs this material plus two real enterprise client project for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this as well in the description. So now moving to our interview. As you discussed, JWT usually has three parts, like header,
Hmm.
payload, and signature, right? Uh,
Hmm.
so, uh, can you tell me a scenario where modifying any part of this could lead to security vulnerabilities?
See, if we try to modify any of these things, right, then
Mm-hmm.
signature will also change. So that is how our signature is. If you
Mm-hmm.
see the code there, right? So I have tried this one. Like in there is a JWT, some website is there. So if you take that token and if you
Mm-hmm.
try to change anywhere, right, it
Mm-hmm.
will change the signature. If you alter anything, then it will
Mm-hmm.
change, and at the time server side validation, right, it will fail,
Mm-hmm.
like your signature won't match.
Okay.
So that's why it is secure.
Okay. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. In microservice architecture, let's say you need to authenticate a user once and allow them to access multiple services without re-authentication. So how would you generate JWT for this case?
Authenticate once and
Allows them to access multiple services without re-authentication.
mm, so this refresh token is that will be there, right? So like we are authenticating once only,
Mm-hmm.
but like every request, right? So there will be for each that token there will be some expiry time will be there. So like
Mm-hmm.
or using that token, we can call all those multiple services, right?
Uh-huh.
And only once it is that token is going to expire, then
Mm-hmm.
we UI will call a refresh token request to authentications other
Okay.
Okta or some
Okay.
Okta, and from there we will get a refresh token.
Mm-hmm.
Using that token, we'll be able to continue with that other service. So we are actually using authentication one, and
Mm-hmm.
using that token, we are
Okay.
trying to connect.
So are you not using anything related single sign-on SSO?
Yeah, that is also there. So that will be come into picture. Like I think for that we are using few places like SAML or somewhere. SAML
Mm-hmm.
authentication is for basically that is for single sign-on. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but I don't have much detail on that. But I know
Uh,
that using SAML we can do that.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fine. So like secret key is plays an important role in JOT, right? So
yeah, yeah.
how do you store it securely?
Yeah, secret key. We do like this will be stored in our like encoded format and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like when how do we that
So
secret
what's
key?
the
Do
decoding and encoding algorithm you guys are using?
uh, encoding and decoding algorithm. We are using this HSA or some that I forgot the name.
Mm-hmm.
That algorithm is there. So that HSA something is there. That algorithm we are using for that one.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I forgot the name. Sorry.
Vishal, suppose a developer accidentally exposes the secret in a public GitHub repository. So what would be the uh, resolution for this, and how can one mitigate this?
Okay. So mistakenly that secret key has been uh, mm,
Let's say someone exposed that secret key in public GitHub
mm,
repository. Now
mm,
this is exposed. Now we understood this was a mistake. But in
mm.
future, though, to avoid this mistakes, so what steps we can take?
So first of all, mm, we should not keep this kind of secret key or something directly into our application.yml or property file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we uh, should keep somewhere some other way of what you can say into LDAP or somewhere we can
Mm-hmm.
keep that
Conductor.
our, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or vault password. There is also a call vault somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
some industries are using, so we need to keep those kind of credential or everything. If you are using
Mm-hmm.
or something called Kubernetes and all those things, right? So we have Kubernetes, we have this what you say,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there are two like secret and config types are there, right? So we keep those
Mm-hmm.
kind of files there also.
We
So
can also
that,
rotate these
yeah,
keys.
yeah. And so that is all we need to do. But
Mm-hmm.
if somebody has already done this, then I think we may need to regenerate a new secret
Regenerate.
key from the
Mm-hmm.
Okta. Yeah, that is what we can do.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Moving ahead. So how is CRUD repository different from JP repository?
CRUD repository.
Uh,
Okay, CRUD, which was there in the when we were using Hibernate, because I started using directly from GPA. So
no,
I'm
we use
much,
this in Spring Data JPA.
yeah, yeah, Spring Data
Yeah.
JPA.
Mm.
Okay. So you are saying CRUD repository and that JPA repository, two different
Yeah, yeah.
interfaces.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
okay. Yeah, okay. Mm, different. How it is
Mm.
different?
So there is a repository file. We write
Hmm.
queries. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
remember?
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Yeah, yeah. I am aware about that. Difference will be JP repository and CRUD repository will be. I'm not sure. I don't want to give
Mm-hmm.
some random answer.
Okay, it's fine. So JPA in CRUD repository, it's a basic CRUD operations like saving,
Hmm.
reading, and finding. Whereas
Hmm.
JP repository, we extend CRUD repository with
Hmm.
JPA specific methods.
Hmm.
Like including some flushing or persistence or applying batch updates.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically it's a parent-child relationship is there.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
whatever method is there in CRUD,
Mm-hmm.
it will be there in JP repository.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 correct. So,
Okay.
do you know about JP repository or CRUD repository? I mean, like while creating a project, so which one do you use or do you prefer uh, JP
I mostly use most of the time JPA repository only,
JP
where,
repository?
yeah. Yes.
Okay, okay. Default methods are find all, find one, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So let's say in a blog application, how would method like find all, save, and delete be typically used?
Uh, Find all, and
Find all, save, and delete.
how does it work?
Yeah, yeah. How can we use this in a blog application?
Okay. So, we'll have this all controller and everything, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
where the request will be coming. So, like blog, suppose the request is something called get all blocks. Some controller is calling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like we will be uh, um we'll be creating a POJO class for that mapping class
Mm-hmm.
basically, and there will be an entity class also,
Mm-hmm.
which will represent for that particular blog related data,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for which like all the logs related to or we can have some kind of filter also or query
Mm-hmm.
parameter also we can pass. So
Mm-hmm.
those kind of thing, like it will return the object of suppose block data, some kind of
Mm-hmm.
POJO will be there. So it will be the return type will be like if that POJO list of
Mm-hmm.
block object, and then there in the query whatever we wanted to pass, like find all. So basically find all is what we are trying to get select asterisk from that particular entity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that
Mm-hmm.
it will return list of block data from there.
Mm-hmm.
And save will be like we are trying to save that particular entity, so that
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So let's say a sports statistics application requires a complex query to find players who have scored above a certain threshold in a past
Mhm.
games. So how would
Mhm.
you approach using this query annotation?
Yes, if the query is complex, we should always go for at the rate query annotation. So we can use our this kind of
Custom query.
custom query. Like
Mm-hmm.
we will use at the rate query, and then we can write our custom query there, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can create that method, custom method also.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is like a straightforward, like some we need to pass particular column, find by some
Mm-hmm.
employee ID, department
Mm-hmm.
ID, and we can add some and condition, then we can
Mm-hmm.
go with this. But if it is a kind of complex query, we need to use at the rate query annotation to
Okay.
for such kind of operations.
Mm. Okay. Have you used paging and sorting repository?
Yes, yes, I have used. Yes.
Okay. So, like, can you brief on this? Or like, how can
Yeah.
we use this,
So
implement this?
yeah, yeah. So we need to implement this pagination interface is there, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that, and then we need to create a page request. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the page request, while querying, we
Mm-hmm.
can pass the this page request, and then like these flags we will be coming from sorry, input parameter will be coming from your query parameter or whatever, right? Or payload or somewhere where they will be passing the page number also or filter criteria, like for a particular request how many like page size, what will be the page size,
Mm-hmm.
and all those things will be coming, so that you will be using that.
Mm-hmm.
You will be creating a pageable request, and
Mm-hmm.
that request you will be passing into this interface, and then they will first uh, uh, fetch that set of data, and then based on that another request or something, it will
Mm-hmm.
keep on sending it like if initially it will send 100 records, and then
Mm-hmm.
like it will send 200 records, so that way it will work.
Okay, okay. Got it, got it. Consider a short social media application with a complex friends and follower system, right? So,
Mhm.
what challenges could arise with JPA when managing these relationships?
Yeah, so these social media or something or
Mm-hmm.
these platform, right? Like where the data is very huge,
Mm-hmm.
and post and feeds and all these things, it should always recommended to go with the NoSQL database. But if there is this kind of relationship and all those things is there,
Mm-hmm.
right? With the data, we can go with the SQL database, but
Mm-hmm.
the like post and the feeds and all those comments and everything, right? Those can be stored in a NoSQL database, which will increase your performance
Mm-hmm.
for your. But if you try to store these kind of data like post or like
Mm-hmm.
JSON, you say like what you say blob or clob this data,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you try to fetch it from this Oracle SQL, these are not the ideal database to use it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you have some kind of, if you need some kind of, basically Oracle, this SQL
Mm-hmm.
database is used for like where you need a ACID property,
Mm-hmm.
like transaction and all those things, right? You need to have a consistency. but where you need a eventual consistency or something, right? We should use for a NoSQL database.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Vishal, let's say we are going to create a API from where we just are fetching information, some information. Let's say we have cart ID and we just want whole cart details by
Hmm.
using that API. So you have two options using get and post. So which one would you use?
Sorry, card. Can you repeat? I missed
Uh,
that. Sorry.
okay. Let's say
Mhm.
someone asks you to design an API where we are passing cart ID, okay,
Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
are fetching the information related to the cart ID. It's
Mhm.
basically fetching information from the database. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So which method would you use, get or post, and why?
You see, if we post is basically like for
No, we are not
creating a,
saving or updating anything. Just we are passing the
yeah, get, yeah. So
get.
get, if it is a read operation, we should
Uh,
always go for get, right?
okay.
Post or put is for like create and update. Okay,
So
so
my
mhm.
question is, cannot we use post API if we need only details like fetching, reading from database?
No, we can use it. It's not
Hmm.
a but we
Let's
are
say, let's say,
we
hmm,
we are not following the actual contract for the REST API, right? So
hmm,
these there is a particular for each everything, right? Get, put,
hmm,
post. We should follow the contract. So each network is for different purpose.
hmm,
So they have defined a certain rules and
hmm,
for your REST API call,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
So if we are not following, then yeah, still there is no problem. But
hmm.
yeah, we need to follow these guidelines for that. What it is
Okay,
mean
okay.
for. Yeah.
Okay, so just one counter question on this.
Hmm.
Let's say we are just reading information from database, and you said we should
Hmm.
use get API. Okay,
Hmm.
so uh, if someone choose post API, so uh, I mean, what about the security consents and all? Like, if client don't want to reveal the cart ID in the API itself, and because by using post we can pass that cart ID inside the body, right? We can hide this information, and we can use read the database in post API as well. So don't you think a post API is more is having more security related stuff? We can secure our APIs more by using post API.
Yeah, that's true. Like instead of passing in the query
Mm-hmm.
parameter, we can pass it from request body
Mm-hmm.
post method. Mm,
Because
uh,
nowadays, what I am observing is,
mhm.
I mean, new clients or like new things are going on. I mean, in trending, people are not using Get API. Everywhere, people are using Post API, even if we are only reading data, just to give more security. They don't want to pass everything in the API itself.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
But ideally, if you see, right, so if kind of
Even in my project, I'm working on
I'm
America's largest 5G network.
mhm.
It's a telecommunication project. So previously, we were using for reading Get API for saving and updating Post API input accordingly. But now
Mhm.
we are changing the versions of API. We are launching new APIs, and we are just translating or Get APIs to Post APIs recently. They are asking to do this just to make system more secure. They don't want to pass card IDs and all in the API itself. They want to pass the data, everything in the request body itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is
But
going on.
if you
Uh,
see, right, so if I don't know I'm right or not, but so the here instead of doing this, if we are like if we have authentication, authorization, everything in place, right? Uh, will it still be a concern like that if we are showing the cart ID or something, if we are able to, if someone is already authenticated and authorization he has done, right,
Yeah, yeah.
he then still
I
he can.
actually am not aware on this. It may or may not, but yeah, that's a trend. Uh,
Mhm.
People are, I mean, clients are shifting from GET APIs to POST APIs. I don't know, but
Mhm.
yes, that's true.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving ahead, mm, have you used patch method?
Batch, Spring
No, no,
Batch, right?
patch, PATCH.
No, no, I haven't
No.
used that
Okay,
batch. Yeah,
okay. Okay, no worries. Do you know about idempotency?
yeah, yeah, I know.
Uh, yeah, please go ahead. Like, how would you implement idempotency in your application for HTTP put and delete method?
Yeah, so idempotent is like something which we so multiple requests have a will have a same request. It will have a same effect. Like
Mhm.
if we are in a payment operation or something, right, where
Mhm.
like a user entered, he was not sure and he entered 5 times submit button.
Mhm.
So for that case, we need to make a consistency about that.
Mhm.
Even though he has submitted 5 times, right, that means should
Mhm.
be like it should be one payment. So for that, we need to use. So post, I always get confused. So put is like idempotence is it, post is I think safe and put is not safe. I maybe I always confuse about these two. So here one of them are not safe, put
Mhm.
or post. I forgot that. Sorry. And
Yeah, yeah.
if we have to achieve this thing, right?
Mhm.
So um, in our API, I have seen like few uh, 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 we should always check the request ID and all those things like from even though if we have a compulsion like we need to go for put or post ID, so I'm still not
Mhm.
sure. So we need to check the request ID and the user and all. And then
Mhm.
if we see before updating the database, right,
Mhm.
we check, we should validate and then only we should do the update. So that
Mhm.
is what we need to do. And
Correct, correct.
other thing, what else?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, so like you know about response entity, right? So
Response, yeah, yeah.
how it's like returning data from API with a response entity and without response entity.
Mm, without response entity.
What's the
Okay.
differences? What would be the difference between their responses?
Yeah, I say like in when we are returning with the response entity, right? So I have seen like we can add all those status code and everything in that
Yeah, had
particular response. Yeah, header and
HTTP.
all those. Yeah, everything we can add it there.
Mm-hmm.
But with a normal response, it will be your plain JSON object or
Mm-hmm.
like whatever format you choose, right? So
Okay.
content type or response content type. So that will be your response. But
Okay.
with the response edit entity, you will get all kind of things as well.
Okay. So since you are having good experience, so what do you suggest to your junior in order to design a REST API? What your suggestions are
So
while designing REST API?
yeah, so I'll suggest something like
Mm-hmm.
so we this first of all this while designing, right, so we
Mm-hmm.
need to understand all this get put and all those, what is the
Mm-hmm.
purpose of this
Mm-hmm.
all HTTP status thing, all those,
Mm-hmm.
right, and we need to understand the status code also, like
Mm-hmm.
what status code is for what, so that we
Mm-hmm.
need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And there are multiple naming convention also, like when we name that particular API and all those,
Mm-hmm.
right, instead of calling get order or get
Mm-hmm.
those things, right, so there are a bunch of reference like don't call is get order or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just put a get. You choose the method type as get, but
Mm-hmm.
don't call it a get order. Just name
Mm-hmm.
it a order somewhere.
Orders.
Okay, so these are the things or
Mm-hmm.
we need to follow in the naming convention also.
Okay.
And yeah, and then a return type we should choose like responsivity, as you said, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
is also very important where you will have multiple control
Mm-hmm.
over it, like while sending those
Mm-hmm.
response. And exception handling also very important, like
Important.
we should, yeah, so instead of sending a random exception to that particular UI, right,
Mm-hmm.
like we where user cannot understand, so you should have
Mm-hmm.
all those custom exception handler or global
Mm-hmm.
exception handler which we have in the Spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of if user is not there, just say a message like user not found it, some useful message to that.
Mm-hmm.
And what else I'll
Yeah, it's
say?
fine, fine.
Yeah,
So, are you aware about the collections like hash set, reset, or and others?
yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay. So, let's say a gaming leaderboard needs to display unique scores in sorted order. What would be a better choice, hash set or tree set?
Gaming leaderboard need to.
Display unique scores in a sorted
Mhm.
order.
I'll go with uh, leaderboard, which will keep gaming leaderboard will keep changing, right? Uh,
Yeah, but leaderboard needs to display unique scores in a
uh-huh,
sorted order.
uh-huh. Yeah, reset is obviously we need to do for sorting and all.
Uh-huh.
I I
Okay.
yeah. So that reset we need to do that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So what's it
Mm.
what's their complexities, reset and hash set?
Uh, reset complexity. I think
Time
it's odd.
complexity.
Order of n log n is
Mm-hmm.
there,
Mm-hmm.
and hash set is I think order of n will be there or log n
No,
will
no,
be there.
O1. Reading O1.
On, yeah, yeah. Hash set is on reading is on, yeah.
Okay, so how does hashmap internally work in Java?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. So how does it work? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so when we create HashMap, H is equal
Mm-hmm.
to new HashMap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by default, it will create a 16 segment for that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so 16 will be that memory will be allocated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you say like HashMap dot put
Mm-hmm.
key as like you have given one
Mm-hmm.
and then some number like
Mm-hmm.
some value you have given Vishal something. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what it will do first, it will calculate the index at which
Mm-hmm.
index it need to be stored. So before that also they generate the hash code for that particular key, and then it will calculate the index, so that there is an index formula is there, right? So based
Mm-hmm.
on that they'll generate choose the index. So
Mm-hmm.
at that index it will store that value. But
Mm-hmm.
there is a problem also, like if sometime what happens, the index number also we can be same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this situation will be called a hash collision. So
Mm-hmm.
for that, like they will be storing that thing into a linked hash.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen like in the newer version of Java 8,
Mm-hmm.
instead of using this linked hash map,
Mm-hmm.
they are sorry, linked list. They are using tree set.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay, so
Reset.
and but yeah, but that also we they which they use when they that linked list cross the threshold, then they
Mm-hmm.
go for this tree set implementation. Otherwise, they initially they use linked list only.
Mm-hmm.
Doubly
Okay.
linked list, not the linked list. You should say doubly linked list because they need to maintain the previous or next address as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Okay. Can we uh, design our own hash map? Can we implement our own hash map?
Yes, yes, we can do that.
Have you tried?
I have not tried it, but I have
Mm-hmm.
seen like it's all about like putting into key value pair, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we can do that. We
Okay.
can have a like, we need to override this hash
Mm-hmm.
key equals and hash code methods and everything, and then we can do that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
internally at the we need to use this data structure only. Even though we
Yeah.
create our own
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? Custom hash map, that we use this data structure only provided by Java.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the difference between fail fast and fail safe iterators?
Fail fast and fail safe iterator is basically like when uh, normal like this array list are like
Mm-hmm.
fail fast,
Mm-hmm.
or fail safe will be like your copy and write array list.
Mm-hmm.
Hashmap will be fail fast, and concurrent
Mm-hmm.
hash will be fail safe. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens it actually is like when you try to when it is trying iterator is trying to read,
Mm-hmm.
at the time you are trying to remove something, so it will
Mm-hmm.
fail that at that moment. But in fail fast right, these array copy and write array list or concurrent hash map, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't why it allows is like it creates a own copy of that, and in that copy you can do that operation. So that there is a difference between them.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. Uh, Going ahead, what are the advantages of current concurrent hash map over hash map? Do you know?
Yeah. So the advantage we have is when advantage in terms of synchronization we have. So in HashMap, what happens when
Mm-hmm.
you try to get synchronize the HashMap, right? It
Mm-hmm.
locks the entire segment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for that, but it doesn't happen with that concurrent happening when we
Mm-hmm.
do, because concurrent is a synchronized also
Mm-hmm.
concurrent has map, right? So it will take a lock of particular segment, one segment.
Mm-hmm.
So that write will be only on one key, but read you can do on the all those particular key. Okay, so suppose 16 we have, and
Mm-hmm.
currently one key is locked, right? So that key will be blocked. Another 15 you can still read, but that will not happen on the hash map. So if you
Mm-hmm.
take us do the synchronization on hash map, that particular all the entire 16 will be locked until this the thread will unlock this hash map. So this is the advantage we have.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So Vishal, do you know about stream and parallel streams in Java?
Yes, yes, I know.
Okay, so under what condition might parallel stream not provide a performance benefit, and how could this impact the application?
Under what
Conditions might
conditions? Okay.
parallel stream not provide a performance benefit, and how could this impact the application?
Mm, parallel stream under what condition?
Mhm. Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah.
so but you can say like when we have a very huge set of data or somewhere, right? And mm,
No,
and
no. If the
mhm.
number of elements or the computational cost per
Yeah, yeah.
element is too
I
low.
mean, yeah, yeah, CPU core you are saying, right? So if
Hmm.
you have like four CPU core or something, and if you are
Hmm.
trying to read for 10, allocate 10 parallel stream, right?
Hmm.
It won't affect. It will always take the four threads per process only. So
Uh,
based on your the CPU core processing, parallel processing only, that it
hmm.
will help. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, got it. What's the difference between intermediate and terminal operations in Stream API?
Intermediate and terminal
Terminal
operation.
operations.
Intermediate.
Uh, okay. So intermediate
In
operations like filter map, terminal
okay, okay,
operations like
okay.
collect
Yeah.
for each.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So if in so this thing, the intermediate operation actually doesn't change the actual
Mm-hmm.
data,
Mm-hmm.
right? All this the filter or something which you are applying, so it doesn't actually modify the actual list or stream. Okay, but when we do this collectors and also maybe it modify the actual data to that. actual stream.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I think I can say the differences.
Okay.
Is it correct?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
So in a data transformation pipeline, you
Mm-hmm.
need to process streams of data.
Mm-hmm.
So which intermediate operation would you
Flat map
flat map?
architecture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. So can you tell me few things, few advantages of flat map
Advantage
over
extreme.
simple map?
Yeah. Simple map is to just to transform a stream into some particular
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
suppose something called we have list of string, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to do all those string into some kind
Mm-hmm.
of mm, reverse that string or make like all the string should be in uppercase and all these kind of operation, right? We
Mm-hmm.
use that map. But flat map is basically like you have list of and then list of
Mm-hmm.
integer and all on
Mm-hmm.
those operation we want to do when you use this flat.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And what's the difference between future and compatible future and uh, like how does compilable future class in Java 8 improves asynchronous programming?
Yeah, so it completable future is for
Have you
uh,
used this
mm,
before in your application?
yeah, I have used one time.
Okay. Mm.
So this is basically to achieve uh, we have a callback function there like in the normal this future if we don't have that, right? So we can after once this is completed we can get a result output as well. So that is what the advantage we have with this future in case of synchronous. But because if we're using a normal thread and all those things, we just
Mm.
start that thread,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
But we cannot expect any like result
Mhm.
back from there. So that is what the advantage we have with that
Mm.
normal processing.
Correct. Yes, okay, Vishal. So it's done from my end.